building. We own we share the public space, if you like, over the footpath, so we are involved with you because of the airspace, but it's still your building. So any other comments on that line? Do you want direction?
Can I ask how sort of granular the earthquake regulations are? So we're talking about buildings that a lot of them may be just securing a facade or making sure a facade can't drop on people. Would take your earthquake rating high enough to get over the limit. And I'm thinking, why can't the veranda be a structure that a facade can fall on?
When this legislation was being discussed, I was quite involved talking to government, and that was our push, was strengthening every building is fine, but if you just did the verandas, the parapets, the chimneys, most of your danger is gone. But they went, Jerry Browning was extremely strong on it, and he wanted the building done as well, so we lost that one. But I agree, I think if you were looking at it from a pure risk to yourselves or the pedestrians, then if you sort your verandas out and your parapets, and then the parapets are not necessarily expensive because you can insure them, you don't see what you do it with. Verandas will depend on what we agree together. So I would agree with that, and the strengthening of the building maybe when you do your alterations later on.
And that's so that is the tack that's been taken with the new minister. Yes, let's do facades, verandas, and chimneys, maybe just a roof one. Her reaction was actually interesting. She said, well, it hasn't come back to the same. Let's go on with it. And to be quite honest, for places like Fielding and Martin, if that alone and that town will survive, it doesn't feel like it's really going to struggle. And they can see that, yeah. And a place like Waikiki, exactly the same, that whole one side of the street would disappear.
Because you could make a standard design veranda that would, that masonry before them, couldn't you?
That's absolutely, yeah,
that's right. So that's up to you as building owners.
Well, what I'm saying here, we're talking about standardising designs and making something that's going to work.
Yeah. So that's the thing that we could, if there was the will of the building owner, we could help with that. We could say, right, this is how it could look, and then we could do it as a combined project, if you like. That's one option. Is there any views that literally want to, they can't stand working with council and they want to do everything themselves, or is it wanting to do this together?
It makes sense to do it together.
Yeah.
As far as the masonry part of it, as far as we had a building that was brick, so we made sure that was pulled down. So we have concrete blocks, but we don't have the bricks anymore.
Right. Yeah. So we do want forthright discussion here, so don't worry about anyone's feelings in the sense if you've got a contrary view or do you want to add, or please do. I'd rather get the issues out.
Wayne, kill you every time you say pull down the building and make a car park.
Well, funny enough, that first idea was given to me by an owner who said, look, I bought it for a different reason, it's just a liability. I'm hoping that within a
terribly useless space.
few years from now, a few years have passed, that people now perceive there's more opportunity to invest in a building. But there's some big bills attached to some of these buildings to strengthen, and you're not going to get the rent for a while yet to justify that kind of investment. So, yes, I agree, pulling them down is not...
Well, we could keep shells. I mean, we could have a market in a shell of a building.
Well, actually, some strengthening of buildings do keep the front and then just build behind. It depends on how much you value the character. There's not historic buildings.
How much you hate car parks.
The counter argument to that, I've been a valuer for 20 years and I've seen negligible rental growth in that time.
Yeah,
I also did a survey every 3 months, and the average vacancy rate along the main street is something like 15 to 20%. So we've got an oversupply of buildings, and we have had for 10 to 15 years. So if you pulled some down, then that would create a shortage of supply, which would push up rents, which would then give you the ability as building owners to actually reinvest in those buildings.
And just to antagonise you even more, we've got a load of parking behind the main street, and when you're driving, you do not believe a parking this way, turn right sign, because you don't really want to do it. You have to see it. So if we did have one building owner that was prepared to open that up, that then means that you could have a lot more visible parking that people could come to. But I'm not advocating knocking the buildings down. I'm just saying that if that was a choice, we could take advantage of it by showing that there is parking or open space, more open space.
And it's not the consideration to actually have the parking in the space where the building was. That could possibly just be a green space and a lead to the existing parking that we already had in Mariana Street.
I've got a question for Wayne. Is it possible to build a veranda that can handle the masonry earthquake?
It would need poles.
Not without significant damage, but what you're talking about is absorbing energy. So a falling brick, for example, is going to punch its way through a piece of corrugated iron in fairly short order. But if we were looking to build something with a bit more strength in it, yeah, it's technically possible. I think the big problem that we've got at the moment is that the verandas are generally attached to the brick buildings with bolts. Those connections are not very good when it comes to seismic earthquake loadings. The other problem is that when earthquakes don't just act sideways, they can act up and down as well. When you get upward movement of the veranda, the tie tries to go into compression. It's ineffective at that. It just buckles. And that then destroys the connection of the main part of the veranda to the building. So we've got to do something different too.
So why does the veranda need to be connected to the building?
Well, this existing verandas are attached to the building.
Yeah, we're talking about replacements now.
Replacements don't need to be. They can be supported on a separate structure. And the degree of energy absorption you want to get out of it is really the question of it becomes economics and dollars.
So is the solution to have a four-poster veranda?
I believe so. Maybe 6.
If you wanted the cheapest solution, the most economic one and most effective, because it's the strongest stress.
Because the thing is, I mean, we're talking about this, but there must be other, you talk about fielding, I mean, there must be other people talking about this. So we talk about, you know, joining up with you as our council, but there must be council, I mean, this discussion must be going on elsewhere. So, and the veranda is a pretty standard item, really. So is, I mean, is there no reason there can't be solutions found sort of at national level?
I think the first question is, we don't own the building, we don't own the veranda. You would have to, not you, but collectively, people would want that to happen. As I said, I'm used to building owners not liking council that much, and certainly the idea of us coming into your business and impacting your business is not the flavour of the month usually. So it is quite a mind change for you to trust us with your building, that we're going to be working with you and doing things together. So, but if that is the will, you know, Tamaroo is a great place. There's no reason why we can't. But I wasn't taking that for granted. We work very closely with our regional neighbours. So the other CEOs and other councils, we talk about how they're getting on with their different businesses. There's been a huge variation across the country in how councils and building owners have reacted. Some have just said, look, we're just going to walk away, we're not interested, there's just nothing in it for us, we're just going to go and you can have a derelict building. Others have just demolished and got on with it, because obviously they've got a bit of a better case. So I think there's everything in between.
So Rangatiki, they were probably the first off the block in New Zealand, in which they went to all the building owners in Martin and just said, so this is what's going to happen. You've got this, at that stage, I think it was 15 years. But you need to be doing something now, and we'll help with assessments. A number of building owners, particularly in one block, decided it wasn't even worth doing an assessment. Why would I pay $2,000 for it? And together they said the council buy their office. So they bought those buildings in the centre of Martin. And that they will be demolished, and they're looking at just giving them space. But funny enough, Martin's actually experiencing a upsurge on businesses, and people are actually starting to look at areas where they can stay in the middle of Martin and actually start a business. Not so much retail, but other businesses. So that is happening. And their problem is that they've got a number of iconic buildings that they want to keep, but they are really dangerous. So again, they know exactly what we're doing. That's just talking to building owners, how can we work together? They're not expecting to actually advance probably for another year, because some of the building owners got a huge decision to make. There's a lot of those third generation people in there, and they feel that they owe it to their family to keep it going. And some have spent a fortune on it already. Some one building owner told about spent about 110,000, and that's just to do just to make the internal part just safe, was the next part. And then we can't rent it out. So yeah, and that's why I think when we talk to you, look, I don't think you're going to get the answer today, to be honest, because each one of you will be thinking, running through your head, so what does this mean to me in dollar terms? What does it mean to me in the future? How am I going to do, am I going to make enough to make it worthwhile rental? Or is it what I want to do anyway? Am I getting to the stage where perhaps now I've been told what's coming up, I might think about moving on to doing something else. So, yeah, we want to signal it just to give you some time to think about it. But at the same time, we want to make it clear that we're here to help if we can.
So we talked about verandas. There seems to be a desire that having a more standardised design would help. We also want the character of Tomaroo, so we don't want to do exactly what every other town has done. So we want some variation. But is that a sort of? I mean, a number of people haven't spoken tonight. There's a number of people who are not here. Do you think there's a general will to work with council on projects, or do you need time to think about your own solutions first? I mean, we're not going to force ourselves on you, but we certainly don't want to hold back in your plans.
Clive, how many of the owners of our buildings on the main street are local versus out of town?
Yeah. So about what is it?
70%.
It's about 71% within the district and in town, and just about 40% are owned from outside the district, or outside the county.
So you're completely opposite to Albuquerque and Wrighton, which is 30% local and 70%.
One of our primary building owners isn't represented here tonight.
1 of 30, so that's what we're filming.
So we haven't had a contribute to doing it together. I don't believe that everyone here is pro-council working with you, but does anyone want to share a comment on that, or is that basically your view? Yeah.
I would think we would need to get a lot more information first before we can think one way or the other. I don't know how you can do that because every shop is different. But yeah.
If I may ask, what sort of information would be useful, just so that we know?
Well, I don't really know. Yeah.
So you're talking about cost-wise? Do you mean like how much is it going to cost for consent,
Well, no,
construction, or?
We won't pay consent.
Our particular shop's 100 years old next year.
It'll never fall down.
And we've had it inspected and it's just above the threshold. So I suppose that means the veranda too, I don't know, but the veranda is hung from the outrights, so
New iron on
yes, I don't know, I feel it's all right. But
Well, as Alistair said in his presentation, if you've got 34%, you're no longer concerned. The veranda, I mean, you need to look at the specific one, but I'd be surprised, as Wayne said, whether that would be able to stand it. And also, there may be deferred maintenance on it. I have no idea how good your lighting, your drainage, and all the rest of it is, because
Oh, it's pretty good.
Oh, good. Well, if you comply with the 34 and it's maintained well, you're one of the few that won't have an issue. So you've got an interest in everyone else doing it to increase the value of your property, but that may be all. Yeah.
A slightly different view, if I may. Our family owns 2 buildings in Mangalore Street. On one site, they were bought for a workshop purpose and a small shop, and it is now the toy shop. That building is 80 years old. Our concern is cost. We've painted one, we've tinted the front of the other, and we're doing a refurbish on the other building now, with the potential and a possible new business, but not at this stage. We're just working on that. So, with regard to working with the council, we don't have a problem. It would all come back to cost. I dread the thought maybe of getting an engineering report for the structural side of it. The one building has a concrete frontage and side panel, and the other is all timbers.